We're back, everyone. My next guest tonight was a cast member on Saturday Night Live. Now she has a hit one-woman show on Broadway called God Said Ha. Please welcome Julia Sweeney to our little show. Thanks so much for coming back.
Well, thank you for having me.
Congratulations, too, on all your success.
Oh,
this is very exciting what's happening with your show.
It is exciting.
And I want to I want to start by addressing just what this show is about, which I think we should talk about first, and then move on. But
all right, I'll go for that scenario.
Yeah, tell us what this show is. Tell us what it's about.
Well, I'm doing a monologue. It's like a 90-minute monologue based on this year of my life that I had after I left Saturday Night Live, and it's about my brother who was diagnosed with cancer, and he moved in with me, and then my parents moved in with me, and we spent this 9 months together. But it's also comedic, and it's, you know, supposedly heartwarming and all of that stuff.
Well, I mean, the critics have really embraced this show. The New York Times said it was great. The Wall Street Journal, a lot of publications. You know,
oh, thank God, I'm so glad that's over. You just can't believe how much pressure there is when you know those people are out there writing about you.
Really, when the critics, because, you know, we do TV, so anyone at any time can turn it on and go, what the hell is this, and write about it. But when you're doing a show, when you're doing a show on Broadway, they tell you that, you know, the guy from whatever, the Wall Street Journal, is in the audience.
And they have this thing on Broadway that isn't in theater like anywhere else, where the critics come a couple of nights before the opening, and then so that you can get the review on opening night, like at the party, which I think is a really macabre and horrific way to do things. But thank God I got a great review. But when the New York Times critic came, it was Saturday night, and I knew he was there, and I was really nervous, and it was a filled house, and I went out and I started performing, and things were going pretty well. And then I noticed that there were 7 teenage girls in the front row of the theater. It's like a 700-seat theater. And, like, my show is really not for teenage girls. I mean, it's really kind of an adult story. And anyway, so they begin, like, not heckling me, but making comments about how they are not enjoying the show during the show. And I can hear them. And I'm trying to just get one from one sentence to the next, and then one sentence to the next, and then they're saying, let's get out of here. I want to go drink, or do you like this show? I don't like this show. Let's go. So then I'm, like, really unnerved. I'm just trying to perform. And then all of a sudden, about halfway through, they all just stand up and walk out. Well, the rest of the audience seems to be enjoying it, and I'm just, like, continuing, and I'm thinking, okay, now they're gone. Now we're halfway through the show. I can win this audience. I can make this great. It can still all happen. And I'm composing myself. My heart's beating. And then I look up in the mezzanine, and a man stands up, passes out, falls forward in his seat, hits his head on the edge of the mezzanine, you know, area, cracks it open. And I can see this, but the rest of the audience down here can't. I don't know if I should stop the show, and my eyes keep going up to this man.
Oh, my God.
And then paramedics come, and they're with the stretcher, and they're putting the guy on. I just kept going, doing the show, one comes after another.
Wait, you're still doing the show, and they're putting the guy on a stretcher?
Yes.
Well, that's getting crazy now.
I know, but only the people in the mezzanine could see it, so I didn't want to ruin it for the people below. And
oh, wow.
Anyway, and so obviously I was kind of
Then a fire began, but I kept going.
I kept doing, you know, I go, and then we, you know, went over to, you know, my brother's house, and I look up, and there's, you know, there's the stretcher out, and then finally when it was over, I just thought it was such a horrific performance for me, but the audience applause seemed heartfelt, but I thought, this is it, you know, this is the worst thing that could happen, but then it ended up being a really fabulous review, so.
He probably said, I love the bit where the paramedics come rushing in. Ingenious.
Really, when she gets really distracted halfway through the show and starts looking in the mezzanine.
Uh-huh.
But anyway.
And you know, this show is about, there's a lot of pain in this show. This is about very personal stuff, and I would think it would be a strange thing to do. You're really opening yourself up in front of, you know, a couple of hundred people every night that come see the show.
700 people.
700.
8 times a week.
715 people that come and see the show. And you're telling them a lot about your life, real personal stuff that you know, that you might not even tell a friend. What's that like? Does that feel weird? Does that ever get strange?
It gets really strange, because I started doing these monologues in L.A. at this club called Luna Park on Sunday nights on Cabaret that Beth Lupita's hosts, and it's only about 50 seats, and the lights are really bright, and I always felt really safe there, like I was talking to friends at a dinner party. It had more of that feeling of, like, ranting at a dinner party, and then, anyway, all this stuff has happened. It's kind of turned into this Broadway show, and there's moments when I just can't believe that I'm out there saying all this stuff, and then people will come up to me after the show and say, you know, oh, so now are you still going out with that guy, you know, that I talked about in the show? and I'll say, I'll think, that's none of your business. How dare you ask me something so personal? And then I'll realize that I actually get out and talk for 2 hours about really personal stuff, so I guess that's okay, but
now,
it's embarrassing.
This was almost, I understand there was interest in this being a television show, which I find a little hard to believe, because you're dealing with cancer, you're dealing with death, you're dealing with loss and all this stuff, and there was a TV pilot, wasn't there?
Yeah, Fox made a pilot. It was fun. Wendy Goldman and I did it, and we had a great time. We thought it would get picked up. But I guess Fox didn't want a sitcom about cancer on their show.
What the hell were they?
Seem obvious to people.
What were they? Maybe they just thought, how's that going to fit with their, like, boing, big comedy night here on Fox? And then it's
funny and sad and everything.
Well, they should put that kind of stuff on TV.
I know, I agree. But people did think we were a little bananas, and it was hard to explain it to people. But anyway.
Well, the show is fantastic, and congratulations on everything. It's really, and it was really, you look great, you look terrific. It's nice to have you on.
Yeah, glad to be back here.
Yeah, all right, thank you very much. Julia Sweeney, God Said Ha is at the Lyceum Theater right here in New York City. Everybody should go see it, and we're going to take a break. When we come back, Chris Isaac is going to be there.